If you had to encourage companies to lean into one of three things, process, technology, or better data, which would you lean into? And I'll start with you, David.
Data. So technology should not lead process. Process should lead technology.
Mm-hmm.
But technology without data is useless. Honestly, for me, it's all about making sure that the data that you have is actionable, contextualized, and relevant, and that you actually know what your data is and where it is and how to get it. Every company I've ever worked at, whether it's the largest company in the world or a small little $7-10 billion automotive company, they all have the same challenges, and that's siloed data.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, David. Ebehi.
I think David's response is fantastic. How do you even follow that? But I do think one thing to point out here is the blind spot in your process is kind of misleading heuristics. So, for example, one heuristic is thinking about, Pareto principle, only focusing on the things that you spend the most money on, even though the most critical input might be something that's a small percentage of spend. But then if there's a shortage in that for any reason, you're, sunk. And so the key thing for process is some of these heuristics, while they may be helpful, are not necessarily going to get you to 100%. 100% on resilience and 100% on kind of preventing yourself from being subject to a lot of these shocks. So I would say the key thing is size is not criticality. You want to think about those two things as very different and make sure that your processes factor that in.
Yeah, and I mean, just to add to that, I mean, of course, not to get like too geeky on the engineering stuff, but if you think about how design engineers design parts, right? Failure mode effect analysis. This is a very simple tool where you can analyze what is the effect if this part fails? What is the effect if this part is no longer available? And then assign a risk score. These are tools that we can repurpose for our environment. We can do the same thing. We can do what ifs, right? Critical to quality. When you release a print for a part for manufacturing, on the part, there are specific dimensions that are called out to say, these ones, if you get these wrong, the part does not work. That same concept, we need to have that view across our supply chain.
Mm-hmm. That's super helpful. I guess maybe a question for the staff. We're going to close there. I will plug, of course, technology. I'm a very big technologist. I believe that technology can make the best practice the path of least resistance, and it's tools of the mind that I think can sometimes encourage better process and better data. But that's why we have a diversity of perspectives up here.